Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Datuk Wei Chuambeng, Chairman, Organizing Committee, Mr. Andrew Weir, online, okay. Excellencies, speakers, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good afternoon. I would like to thank KSI Strategic Institute for Asia Pacific and the co-organizer for the honor of delivering the closing address at this World Digital Economy and Technology Summit 2022. Over the past 2 days, you have listened to many experts expounding their take on the digital economy, its impact, challenges, new ideas, as well as new technology being developed and utilized in so many ways. Around the world, digital technologies are changing the way we live and work in ways we could not predict just a generation ago. In fact, if there were any lingering doubts about the necessity of digital transformation to business longevity, the coronavirus has silenced them. In a contactless world, the vast majority of interactions with customers and employees must take place virtually. With rare exception, operating digitally is the only way to stay in business through mandated shutdowns and restricted activity. It is go digital or go dark. This digital mandate is not new. It is simply been brought into sharp focus. Prior to the pandemic, a paradigm shift towards digitization and civilization of the economy was already underway. Current events have accelerated the paradigm, as evidenced by the marked shift in spending towards digital businesses. And this is just the beginning. The pandemic is a reality check for businesses that have been reluctant to embrace digital transformation and now find themselves woefully unprepared. On top of the stress of potentially health-compromised employees, a sudden and dramatic drop-off in demand, and total economic uncertainty, these digital laggards are now scrambling to migrate their operations and workforce to a virtual environment. While fast and furious is the name of the game when it comes to digital innovation, fast and frantic can lead to mistakes. On the other hand, businesses that had not only developed digital strategies, but executed on them prior to the pandemic are now able to leapfrog their less nimble competitors. That is not to understate the COVID-19 related challenges they now face, irrespective of their current level of digital maturity. Going digital in and of itself is not a panacea to all that ails businesses in the current economic environment. They do, however, have significantly more tools at their disposal to not only weather the storm, but to come out the other side stronger for it. Don't write off the digital laggards just yet. However, crisis breeds ingenuity, and good ideas put into practice can propel any business to break out performance. Organizations that rest on their existing digital laurels can be surpassed by those that invest in adapting their digital capabilities for the post-coronavirus future, a future that looks very different from the world pre-pandemic. Excellency, distinguished member of the audience, ladies and gentlemen, during COVID-19, the world has, by necessity, gone into isolation. Digitization has tapped into the bridge that gaps left by mandated shutdowns and social distancing measures. Without digital tools and technologies, we would have, we would have no way to work, shop, go to home, and more. Today, as the world reopens, the economy and businesses must recover after the downturn during the pandemic. To ensure that economic growth is sustainable, we must seize the significant economic and social opportunities that digital technologies bring. We are already well on the way. Businesses are improving their productivity by adopting and adapting new technologies, including autonomous systems, robotics, artificial intelligence, and remote sensors into their current operations. They are improving output and safety and competing on the world stage. New industries are being created for all sorts of new products and services, both for local market and for the increasingly accessible global market. The adoption of new technologies is also bringing well-paying jobs for the people of all qualifications, improvements in quality of life, increased connectedness, and benefit for consumers. The Malaysia Digital Economy Blueprint sets out the opportunities and the challenges in maximizing the benefits on offer. It highlights the significant work already happening across government and identifies further action required to ensure all Malaysians thrive in a global digital economy. The role of digital technology is evident, especially since a year ago, following the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic, which has led to all countries facing difficult challenges to continue business as usual. Therefore, mastery of digital technology is essential to elevating Malaysia's economy. Digital economy is also significant in driving new engines of economic growth. The digital economy, which has been growing by leaps and bounds in recent months, is expected to make up 22.6% Malaysia's gross domestic product, GDP, and create 500,000 jobs by the year 2025. To reap the benefits that new technologies provide and to make sure no one is left behind, we must work together. The government will continue to engage with all Malaysians to ensure we are forward-looking but also flexible and responsive as new opportunities and challenges arise. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to touch briefly on the ASEAN digital economy. Asia, specifically ASEAN, is the fastest growing internet market in the world. According to the latest Economy Southeast Asia report by Google, Temasek, and Bain and Company, the digital economy is projected to reach USD 1 trillion in gross merchandise value, or GMV, by 2030. What is fascinating is the fact that 80% of the 440 million internet users in ASEAN are digital consumers, defined as having purchased at least one digital service. That is a massive market. The pandemic has accelerated the adoption of digitalization in ASEAN. Over the past 2 years alone, over 60 million new users have come online. bringing the internet penetration to 75%. The trend is here to stay, with 9 in 10 consumers who tried a new digital service in 2020 continued to use the service last year. In Malaysia, the digital economy is projected to reach 35 billion USD in GMV by the year 2025. In fact, Malaysia leads Southeast Asia in digital consumption. 88% or 22 million are digital consumers, and that number is only growing. The question is, why is this important? In Malaysia, the digital economy is expected to contribute 22.6% of our GDP and create about 500,000 jobs by the year 2025. There are emerging industries that will be new drivers of economic growth, such as fintech, edtech, and health tech. Therefore, Malaysia has placed priorities on expanding the adoption of digital consumer tools, such as e-commerce and digital payments. In addition, we are also attracting, training, and retaining digital talent. Furthermore, Malaysia is providing fast fiber optics and mobile broadband internet access, as well as coordinating innovation between universities, businesses, and digital authorities to foster digital entrepreneurship. This is a big opportunity for businesses and governments alike. Therefore, businesses must capitalize on the digital boom. Governments must provide conducive regulatory environment and vibrant ecosystem for businesses. Without fully harnessing this opportunity, all of us will lose out. Ladies and gentlemen, it would be very remiss of me not to say a few words about the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, UN SDGs. The 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development has put forward a broad and ambitious agenda for global action on sustainable development. The scale and ambition of the Sustainable Development Goals require innovation in and for development. To achieve the goals by 2030, new modalities for development are required, including bringing innovation into the foreground of development projects. Innovation, understood as new forms of social practice and organization, as well as new or improved technological products and processes, is not only an explicit focus of Goal 9, which is build resilient infrastructure, promote inclusive and sustainable industrialization, and foster innovation, but also a key enabler of most, if not all, of the goals. For example, science, technology, and innovation, STI, will play an essential role in achieving goal number 2, which is end hunger, achieve food security, and improve nutrition and promote sustainable agriculture. The ambitious nature of the 2030 Agenda aims at, among others, ending poverty and reducing inequality in all its forms, everywhere, to promote inclusive and sustainable consumption and production systems, to provide full and productive employment and decent work for all. Excellency, distinguished member of the audience, ladies and gentlemen, the role of SDI in ensuring food security by 2030 will require fundamental changes in the ways in which energy, food, water, housing, welfare, mobility, and other goods and services are delivered, distributed, and consumed. Harnessing the positive potentials for innovation to address the sustainable development goals will also mean recognizing that same forms of contemporary innovation also contribute to environmental degradation, are disruptive of livelihoods, and exacerbate inequalities. The key question concerns not how to encourage more innovation in more places, but which kind of innovation need to be encouraged, while at the same time discouraging harmful innovation. Malaysia sees sustainable development goals in a bigger picture to support planetary health, which has become more important than ever before. The Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation, MOSTI, will lead the formulation of a national action plan on planetary health using STI to protect and manage the environment. Malaysia, through MOSTI, is always open to forging strategic partnership with global institutions in digitalization. Lastly, I hope that every one of you who are here throughout the summit will be able to apply the knowledge and the network that you gain. With that, thank you again for this invitation and wish you all safe travels. Thank you. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.